Yeah, I've got so many plans, it's a bit overwhelming. I'll start by saying that this is not going to be a perfect cabin renovation. What you're going to see is not a how-to guide. This is a challenge to myself and something that I've wanted to do for a long time. The goal is to improve the house as much as I can, and if possible just by myself. But I'll make mistakes, I'll build things wrong, and it will probably turn out a bit more rustic than I intended it to be. I hope to learn a lot. It's definitely not going to be a modern house renovation. It's not going to be sleek with all the features and the comforts. I want it to become a real cabin. Everything in woods, the floors, walls and joinery. I don't have any hands-on experience, so I'm going to be flexible, adjusting as I go along. But first I need to get the house ready for winter, and this will be my most immediate goal. When my offer on a house got accepted, I had about a week to transfer the funds and receive the keys, and I decided to go to Stockholm to buy a bike. I wanted to go to Decathlon because I know the store and they only have shops in and around Stockholm. So got on a few trains and picked up a tiny bicycle. At that point, I had 5 days left to get back to the estate agent, and it took me those 5 days to cycle back. And let me tell you, camping with a bicycle is a little bit more tricky than camping when you're hiking, because you're close to roads and people and you have to push that little bike up into the bushes. But it was quite an adventure and I actually really enjoyed doing that. Also, I just knew that it was going to be such a game changer to have a bicycle at the property. There are no buses that get close enough, so it will be really good for doing groceries and cycling into the town, which is about 12 kilometers away. And then I was home. The first days I was at the property, I tried to kind of soak up the sun and get to know the area, or get to know my plot and figure out what I really wanted to do with it. I started to draw up sketches for the build and make floor plans in my notebook, and I went to a couple of government institutions and tried to figure out the official aspects of moving to another country and building things. The tap in my sink started to clog up, and as I didn't have any tools at the time, I decided to just use the outdoor tap for washing my hair and doing laundry and all of those things. And it was actually really nice to slow down a little bit, taking a little bit more effort, but really being in the moment and being outside as well. spent a lot of time on my phone trying to research, which is really tricky. My phone doesn't have a web browser with a built-in translation function, and I really needed to Google in Swedish because otherwise I would get specifications for, you know, building in different climates. And I researched a lot of materials, and I went to hardware stores and looked at all of the woods they have and all the things that they sell, and generally just got really confused. Now this might be a good time to run you through my first rough plans for the build. I obviously did quite a few sketches and I have a couple of layout options, but let me run you through the existing first. This is the main entrance. This is the living room with the fireplace and an old kitchen, the blue room, with a door outside. And again, going from the main entrance, this is where you have the smaller room and the current kitchen with the stove and the third entrance going outside. So this is the plan that I would like to go with. I have these big dreams of opening up the windows to bigger windows and huge patio doors, double doors to lead out onto a deck. And opening things up quite a lot, but the main idea here is to basically turn the back door into the main entrance. So you create this circulation space with stairs going up and a bathroom, and then you lead into the kitchen. The kitchen countertop will turn into a desk area in this room, and basically turn into low-level built-in seating and storage unit all the way through. So there's a lot of custom joinery which I would really like to, you know, get my hands on and experiment with. So this also means that this bathroom is actually going to receive a tiny window, and this third entrance is going to close up and receive the window that was in here. This is obviously opened up. As you can see, I've started to look into the planning aspect of this. We have the existing plan and elevation for this back extension. This is the overall plan. We're looking at the back extension here. The two windows as they are currently, and the door. As you can see, I'm looking at taking out this wall and this window and this section down here, and my proposal is to put in a smaller window and turn this into a larger window. I also got some in-person advice on some of the very important things. I cycled over to a plumber who ended up coming to the house a few days later, and he had a look at my water situation. Now I have a water pump that has a water cable running to the house, to the kitchen above ground, and he told me what I needed to do to make that winterproof. Funnily enough, he didn't seem very interested in doing the job himself. He told me I could just do it. And so he explained to me how deep I needed to bury the pipes and where to add the heating cable, and he also told me that I definitely needed to insulate the water pump shed itself and put a little radiator in it. He also gave me a quote for digging the trench, and I also had a neighbor quote me for that. They both told me it would be about 5,000 kroner to do it. It's about 20 to 25 meters. So I kept it in the back of my mind as an option. Besides all of the research, I did try and enjoy the space as well. Before my parents came, I tried to pick as much berries as I could and cycled to find raspberries in the rain and thunderstorms. I ventured into the nature reserve, which was wild and a bit wet but drying for the summer, and I really loved that area. When my parents finally came, I was able to start doing the real construction drawings for the important things like the windows on my laptop. And we quickly started to demolish. Now, it wasn't long before we realized that this house is rock solid, and demolishing was a disaster. Everything was built so tight. Everything was fixed with 3 or 4 inch nails in all directions, and it was just impossible to pull this house apart. Even the things that were rotten were just still so stuck. Much more to my surprise though was that the house is actually constructed completely different from what I thought it was. I just assumed that this house is just had a timber framed structure with insulation, but it wasn't. It's a proper log cabin. The original house has just horizontal big logs and the back extension, which was done sometime in the 50s according to old newspaper clippings that I found. That has a vertical log cabin style structure. The logs are about 60 to 65 millimeters thick, and which is about 2.5 inches. So that was really interesting to find. So I very quickly realized that I never want to demolish a house again. It is an awful job. Weeks and weeks to take out the most important things, but we managed to take out the kitchen cupboards, the wall in between the 2 old kitchens, and my dad had a good go at the little room outside of the 3rd entrance. He did not manage to pull it apart completely, so I decided to keep the roof on it and turn it into a cute little outdoor structure where maybe I can put plants or do something cute later on. But some of the biggest holes are yet to come, and I will tell you all about that in the next video.